Hi, it's Dr. Tom. Thank you so much for coming over to learn more about the smell test. And I'll start with an example. I think that's a good place to start. My ex and I were driving home from a summer vacation with our two young kids. This was 1986. We had a Chrysler minivan, and it's a 90-90 day, 90-degree temperature, 90% humidity. And I'm driving down the road at 70 miles an hour, air conditioning on, listening to some nice music, kids playing in the back. And all of a sudden, my temperature gauge on the car, this car had temperature gauges, and the temperature gauge is starting to move, and it's moving closer towards the red zone. So I'm watching it for about 5-10 minutes, and then it just moves a little more. Now it's hugging the red zone. I go, oh no. My wife says, what's wrong? I said, oh, the engine's overheating. Don't worry, it's okay, we'll take care of it. And so what did I do? Because I saw a problem was about to happen, I slowed down to 55, turned off the air conditioning, taking a load off of the engine, rolled down the windows, listened to the kids complain, but we made it home okay. We didn't get stuck in Gary, Indiana on the side of the highway with semis going by at 70, 80 miles an hour. Vroom, the whole car vibrates and all of that. We didn't have any of that happen because I paid attention to the biomarker on the dashboard of my car. So a smell test is a biomarker on the dashboard of your brain. This is not a test of your nose. It's a test of your brain. And studies tell us that the reduced vision, reduced hearing, they don't have any correlation with brain function and brain dysfunction. And the possibility of developing dementia. But the loss of smell or a reduction in smell is directly associated with the loss of the areas of the brain responsible for memory. Why? Because the nerves of smell, the nerves that carry the smell message back into the brain, go right over the nerves of memory. Now, why is that? It's because our ancestors, if they smelled something, they had to be able to pick up the smell of a lion or a saber-toothed tiger, really quickly. If they smell a saber-toothed tiger in the wind, they head the other way really quick. And it was a survival tool. It helped us to survive. So smell, those nerves go right past the memory center in the brain. So if you're losing your sense of smell because there's inflammation of those nerves, which, by the way, mostly comes by what you've been breathing for a long time. If there's inflammation of those nerves, that inflammation can be a marker of the inflammation in your brain and the memory centers of your brain. That's why the smell test is such a useful tool. And the way it's designed, it's a card, a booklet that's about this high and about that long, and you open it up, and here's the first four little patches, and you take a coin, just like scratch, and you scratch and sniff like on a lottery ticket. You scratch it with a coin. You just scratch this area, and you go, that smells like cinnamon. And then there's four options. Oh, cinnamon, good. And you circle it with a pencil. And the next one, you scratching it, say, no, that smells like roses. That's right. And then there's rose. So you do roses. The third one, you say, oh, what does that smell? What is that smell? And so you look over at the options. Oh, it's almond. Yeah, it's almond. And you do almond. That counts. That's fine. And so you do the first four. Then you turn the page and you got the next four. And you turn the page, you've got the next four. And when you do this test, you got the answers right away. That's when you come back and you watch the next video and we talk about what does it mean in terms of your answers. And this is a 12-scent smell test. It used to be the 8-scent was out there, and some doctors were using an 8-scent, some ear, nose, and throat doctors, but the 12-scent has a 97% correlation with the most sophisticated smell tests available that are hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment to use them in research hospitals and things like that. So the 12-scent has a very high correlation. So click the button below, order the smell test, and when it comes, just take a coin, scratch it, mark it down, do your thing, and then come back and watch the next video, and we'll talk about what does it mean, what your score is. Okay, see you then.